So we were open around. We were running pretty good through summer. We were running 4 to 5 shows a week. We started suspecting this COVID problem was coming into Australia. We started trying to look at ways we were going to get around that in February, thinking it was going to be a real issue. It ended up being a real issue, and then we were just shut down in March. We didn't think we were going to get hit that hard. We've been closed now for 6 months today, this week I should say. We lost hundreds of shows out of that.
Remember speaking to a couple of bookers and managers and just everyone kind of in the industry, and Monday, Tuesday, and I had a couple ring me up going, I just had a whole 3 months shows just cancelled in one day, and I was like, oh, that's bad luck. That's like, what do you say to that? And in my head, I'm like, oh, maybe it might be a little bit different for regional, thinking I was being a little bit optimistic. And then come Thursday, all of a sudden, had every email going, found out a couple of bands just cancelling or postponing on Facebook and Instagram. And I messaged the agent or emailed the agent, and they were like, I'm so sorry, I've had a 20-date tour just cancel on me like that. So
okay, I'll take you through the pub. Yeah. This is our pub, which we've just renovated due to having 6 months off. Here's our band room, our famous band room where all the parties happen and craziness.
So I guess this is the entrance. So the venue's a little bit bare at the moment because we haven't been open for so long, but you'd come through these doors instead of like Corova back in the days, you would come down right into the band room. So now you have the option, if you don't want to see the band, you can come down the back and have a drink. So yeah, you can come in here, just relax, have a drink. We, we'll probably, when we're allowed to reopen them, because you can be seated down here, we'll probably have some seated shows, more acoustic.
Fridays and Saturday nights are our bread and butter when we're having our rock and roll shows, but we do our Sundays a bit more laid back and family friendly. Thursday nights are a bit more local and younger sort of crews. Wednesday nights is usually just the locals here all get up on stage and just mix it up and jam and play all night. We have music 5 nights a week.
Again, it's all a little bit bit messy. I was going to try clean before. But yeah, so this is the main band room, which obviously has held some pretty incredible acts over the last 16 years. And then before that, I think it was Vodka Bar and then the Big Papa's House of Funk. So it's pretty incredible room, and had some pretty amazing artists play it, and hopefully, a lot more come post-COVID. So yeah, this is where it was at, and obviously a lot more was just about to happen during, or just before kind of COVID hit.
Well, 6 months, 624 times 5, 150 shows probably. And that's a lot of, that's, 3 bands, 2 to 3 bands on every one of those shows. So that's a lot of artists have missed out on gigs. We've still had to pay rent, we've still had to pay utilities, we've still had to pay insurance. So we're out of pocket thousands every month still. And I
think the government came out. I think the industry said 3 months, 2 or 3 months, and then all of a sudden Scott Morrison was like, we're not going to, it was 6 months. And I think that's when everyone went into kind of a bit of a meltdown, going like, wow, my life is going to change. And, so it was probably more about trying to adapt and evolve and figure out, well, how do we continue live music instead of kind of going like, I guess people had to grieve. I'm not sure if that's the right term, but kind of come to the understanding of what's happening in their life. I was fortunate enough to have, a uni. So I'm a full-time uni student as well, nearly finished. So I had that kind of keeping my brain ticking over. And then
looks like we've had some good support through VicGov, but we're still waiting for that money to come through. We haven't been approved of that money yet, so we're still nervously waiting to see if we're going to be. And if that money doesn't come through, it's all over. It's simple as that. But we're backing that it will come through. I've been up and down. At the start, I cried myself asleep for the first 6 weeks probably. Just didn't know what to do. Just tried to deal with the stress of it. Got some comfort that Vic's government was going to support us. Waited on that for a while. Then that came through. We worked pretty hard getting that grant in, and then after I got that grant in, I hit the wall. I had a family member die as well, and I just had to down tools for nearly a month and just not do anything, just try and get my head back and get focused on what I needed to do. Did that, come good after a month, and now I'm back and all excited and looking forward to the future, and we'll just keep fighting at the moment.
What have you done to your ankle, mate? What's the story? Like, so in amongst all this, you've also had another. What have you done to your body?
Yeah, so I had a, it's called a subtalar fusion. So it's my 4th operation on this ankle, and I've had 3 on this one. So because of COVID, I got pushed back, and then I was, again, very fortunate that I could get in within a month in Melbourne during the COVID times when the elective surgery could happen. So it's basically an aluminium screw, which is probably about that big, goes through the bottom of my heel, and then they chop out, well, through my heel, sorry, and then they chop out a fair bit of bone there, and another one kind of goes on the top and kind of locks into place. So I was on my back for about 6 weeks, 23 hours a day I was on my back. So I had a lot of time on my hands to think about stuff. And then, so 2.5, nearly 3, coming up to 3 months. So I just started walking the other day. So I'm hobbling a little bit, but smiling and learning to walk again, which is great fun.
We've built our new mixing desk, which still needs a bit of work, and it's rough and ready. We've put all new stage power in now because we used to have stage power problems. We've got separate lighting and stage power, which Jared Ferguson's done for us. We've got new HDMI connections to our super screen and all this sort of stuff, all these little jobs. The biggest part we've done is we've completely rebuilt this room, our main front bar. So we've had this beautiful Tassie oak all polished up. It's come up a treat. We've had to put new floors behind the bar because they were all dead. We've ripped all that up and redone that. The men's toilets, which was close to a dog's kennel, has all been rebuilt. New hearth and fireplace.
Well, in reality, I guess like after we did sanitise, which was a live streaming kind of showcase of a glimpse of what Ballarat has to offer and some venues that Ballarat had to do, the brain needed to be ticking over. So, I help event manage and run and promote, and the booker for Summer Sundays. So I'm in the midst of doing that, of trying to figure out what Summer Sundays is going to look like in January for 3 weekends, and then have the Be Here, Be Now kind of working on that as well. So I've got that coming up, got Summer Sundays coming up. The venue, I just heard the announcement today, so that's a new thing that we've got to start thinking about, of kind of like how are we going to, I know it was outdoor kind of, dining, and I'm thinking, okay, well, our venue can't do it, but how can musicians in Ballarat perform in front of people in cafes or pubs or bars that have outdoor, eating areas? So
we've put in a new entry place because I think that's going to be a key point when we come back, is our entry point, and doing all our sign-ins and things like that, which we're going to have to do. I don't know what the future's going to look like as far as that, on how we track who's in and out of here and what levels we're going to have to do that. So that's our next problem.
I've got a lot coming up. I've got a band that I imagine is releasing a single coming out soon, and then another act that I'm managing that trying to figure out how to release their kind of like maybe 2 singles, like back to back, maybe a little 7-inch. So, and then also I'm in the midst of doing a kind of working out my management and events company. So as soon as this kind of hit, I went perfect time to knuckle down. So just about to kind of launch that to have an official platform.
How's the Saturday night kitchen openings going?
Well, we just started that last week, and that was an enormous success. We had about 50 people out the front trying to get in here, and we just had to let them in at one at a time. I was a bit worried about the police turning up because of the amount of crowd we had out the front, but we're going to do it again this week. We'll just do it once a week for a few weeks, I think, and then we'll work towards this sort of staged opening and work that out, how we can do that. But while it's okay that the Premier's lifted the restrictions and we can do these things, we've still got a lot of infrastructure here that we need to sort out, and I don't know whether we need to suss out how viable it is too. I don't want to take a risk and go and spend all this money and do all these things and then we just blow all that money. So.
Yeah, look, like obviously it was a bit of a shock. I was probably initially concerned about a lot of other people, like because I always feel like, this is my passion. I'm in the industry, have been, and I want to keep working in the industry. But I felt like a lot of people that's their like the livelihood, and it was my livelihood too. But I kind of was in area of like, is everyone else like, you know, you heard stories of booking agents, managers just losing their you know, livelihood just like that, roadies, you know, and more stories came out as it progressed.
Well, me personally, I used to socialise with 50 to 200 people a day, and then overnight it went to zero, and that, I think that had a bigger effect on me than I thought, and that was probably part of my first breakdown, if you want to call it that. And you try all the online stuff and all that. I sort of got a bit jack of all that. We didn't bother with it. We just talk to your mates and that's about it. Yeah. So there's a lot of people I can't wait to see and can't wait to start socialising with again.
And also have another business running with a friend that we're trying to figure out at the moment, just to kind of to pitch kind of music to ad and marketing agencies. So got a lot on, and full-time uni as well. So just trying to keep really busy, which is usually what happens. I usually go, nothing's happening, and then all of a sudden it's like a little bit too much, but I love it. So, and then I guess like if, you know, the venue's the big one as well, just like as soon as we can start having, you know, seated shows or whatnot, and start booking and just putting on matinees or whatever. So yeah, that's what's happening. So pretty exciting. Again, it's going to be like, you know, as you know, Mick, and I'm sure a lot of people know, like the post-COVID world's going to look very different for a while for the music industry and for performers. And so it's about trying to adapt and make sure it's enjoyable as possible and make sure the right people are getting money, you know.